Hello class 11, I have already started with you the chapter Macbeth from your rapid portion, and this is the third video of Macbeth. And before starting today's class, I should give you a brief recapitulation of what we have done in our past two videos. Now, at first what we have seen is that Macbeth, he had come, and while he came along with Banquo, he was received by three witches, and the witches kind of prophesied to him that he is going to be the Thane of Glamis, Cawdor, and also the king himself. After listening to all this, when Banquo, he was shaken that then what would happen to him when he asked that the witches to prophesy something for him. They prophesied that he will not be someone happy, but more happier. No, so in this respect, it was a kind of a riddle that what it would be. So they prophesied him that maybe Banquo, you will not be the king, but your generation, your grandchildren, they will perhaps become the king someday. Now, after that, Macbeth writes a letter to his wife, and the wife gets to know about the prediction of the witches, which had already come true. Now, Duncan comes to live in Macbeth's house, and the lady Macbeth, she quickly lays up a plan that how to kill Duncan and how to reach the target of becoming the king as soon as possible. So she lays up a plan that Duncan will be killed, and eventually the entire murder, it will fall on the murderers will be considered to be his own son, as they will fly up, or else the guards who will be drunken. She also understands that some or the other way, Macbeth, he lacks the confidence of murdering or doing such an evil act. In this, now I'll just start with today's class with page number 45, second paragraph. Please concentrate. In this conflicts of the mind, Lady Macbeth found that her husband had resolved to proceed no farther. But she was a woman not easily shaken from her evil purpose. She began to pour in it at his ears, which infused a portion of her own spirit into his mind, assigning reason upon reason why he should not shrink from the resolution he had earlier. So she could well understand that somehow her husband lacks the confidence to murder someone. So she kept on inflicting several reasons to tell him that how very important it is to murder Duncan right then. She even accused him of cowardice and fickleness. She accused him of being coward and being fickle-minded. She also told him how practicable it would be to lay the guilt on the drunken grooms, that also the grooms who are there outside guarding, it would be very easy for them to lay the entire fault on them. So Macbeth, he took the dagger in his hand and softly stole into the dark to the room where Duncan slept. As he advanced towards the bed chamber, he visualized another dagger hanging in the air with the handle pointed towards him, and there were drops of blood on the tip of the blade of the dagger. So as he he was moving with the dagger, he found that in the dagger he could hallucinate that there was drops of blood. Macbeth tried to grasp the dagger, but it faded into the air. It was only a phantasm created for his hot, oppressed brain for the business he had in hand. So it was only his hallucination that he was doing. Overcoming this fear, Macbeth entered Duncan's room, slew the hapless king with one stroke of the dagger. So he killed Duncan with one stroke of dagger. Just as he was about to leave the room, one of the grooms who were sleeping in the chamber laughed, and they cried, or they were already, drunken, but he laughed in his sleep and cried out, "Murder!" For which both of them woke up, and then one of them said, "God bless us," and the other responded, "Amen," and went off to sleep. So one of them, they woke up from their sleep and said, there's a murder, And the other said, Amen. And after that, both of them went back to sleep. Macbeth also tried to say Amen, but the words seemed to be stuck in his throat and he could not utter. He felt that he had heard a voice which said, sleep no more. Very, very important line. You must mark them down. Macbeth muttered sleep, the innocent sleep that nourishes life. Glamis has muttered sleep. Therefore, Cawdor shall therefore sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more. So, you know, when you do a work which is not correct, which is incorrect, you yourself suffer from some kind of confusion in your mind. You kind of suffer from some kind of conflict in your mind, that whatever I have done, was that true, was that necessary? And in this process you cannot sleep, so you yourself mutter sleep. That's what Macbeth had done. He had muttered sleep in his own hand. Okay, what has he done? He had muttered Duncan, and eventually it will lead to such consequence that he will not be able to sleep, because every night he will have a fear that today I might be caught, this day I might be caught, that can happen to me. So all these can happen. Okay, Macbeth thus returned to his wife, who by now had started to think that he had failed in his objective. He came in such a distracted state that she reproached for his want of resoluteness and sent him to wash his hand and the blood that stained them. Now, before I start with this paragraph, it is also said that he could understand that he could sleep no more. He is the Thane of Glamis. The Thane of Glamis cannot sleep. The Thane of Cawdor cannot sleep. And no more can Macbeth sleep. So after that, he went to his wife, who already had started thinking that maybe he will not be able to do the act for which he was sent. And then she asked him to wash his both the hands. She took the dagger to stain the cheeks of the grooms with the blood in order to make it seem their guilt. Then she took the dagger, and with that she, stained the cheeks of the guards or the grooms who were there. Day broke. With it was the discovery of the murder. Though Macbeth and his wife showed their utmost grief, and evidence of the murder were sufficiently strong against the groom, yet the entire suspicion fell upon Macbeth. Duncan's two sons fled immediately. Malcolm the elder sought for refuge in English court, while Donalbain, the younger son, fled to Ireland. So, although after the day broke, all the evidence were against the groom, yet people tried to suspect Macbeth, that maybe Macbeth is the one who has killed. Now after this, what has happened, Malcolm and Donalbain, they are two sons of Duncan. They had already left. One had gone to Malcolm, he has taken refuge for the English court, while Donalbain, he went to Ireland. With the death of the king, the throne became vacated. No one was there to rule. The sons were also not there. Macbeth, who was their next heir, was crowned the king of Scotland. So ultimately, the third prophecy of the witches, that the Macbeth will become the king one day, eventually came true. Thus, the prediction excuse me, of the Weird sisters was literally accomplished. So eventually the third prediction, it eventually came true. So this was the third video of Macbeth. In my next video, I shall continue with the rest of the portion. Hope you're enjoying the play. Please keep on learning, and I hope there is no problem in understanding the play. Thank you.